Today's topic is how to achieve your goals. This is Tips with Trev, the show where I give developing baseball players some easy tips to end their slumps faster and become superstars sooner. Let's get down to business. Setting goals is important, blah, 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 blah. You've probably heard that before, right? Yeah, everyone's heard that. Everyone tells you that setting goals is important, but has anyone ever taught you how to set goals and then how to achieve them once you set them? Probably not. So I'm gonna give you some tips. Tip number one, write your goals down. Write them down. You gotta just make a chart. Write them down. Make a chart in business, make a chart in baseball, in personal life, whatever it is you're trying to improve upon, just write down your goals. You can't get to where you want to go if you don't know where you're trying to go. You have to know where you're trying to go. Be super specific. Set deadlines for yourself and say, okay, I want to do this, this, and this. Exactly this, this, and this. I want to be 10 pounds lighter in 3 weeks. Okay, now at least you have a goal. You have something that you're going for. You know exactly what it is you're going for so you can monitor your progress. But you have to write it down and be specific with yourself. Tip number two, evaluate your competition. What are the attributes of your final self? Like when you get to where you want to be, what does that look like? And the people that are already there, the people that have what you want or have achieved what you want to achieve, the people that have gone before you that you're going to model yourself after, like what do they do? What do they have? What are the attributes that make them up? Describe them. Get a picture in your head. It's almost like if you're playing a video game. Some of you don't play video games, a lot of you do. If you're designing your own character on video games, that like there's all these different categories of things like speed or power or whatever the case is, right? Those are attributes of that player. Find the people that you want to be like, that have what you want, and then write out the attributes. Like what are they? What do they look like? Are they fast? Do they think a lot? Do they spend a lot of time with their family? Like whatever it is, figure out what those attributes are. Tip number three is to make a dartboard. Not your typical dartboard. You don't have to make something that you can actually throw darts at that's gonna hang in the basement or in the bar or something like that. No, it's gonna look like a dartboard, but each of the little slices is going to be one of the attributes that you've identified that you want to be. So if I want to be a big league pitcher, one slice might be velocity, one slice might be durability, one slice might be a great breaking ball, one slice might be whatever it might be, right? I'm going to fill in each of the slices around my dartboard with an attribute, and then when I'm going to go and evaluate myself, and I'm going to be super honest with myself, I'm going to fill in out of 10, 0 is in the center, 0 is there, and 10 is at the very edge of your dartboard, and you want to fill everything out. It's kind of like a video game where you build a character. You know, in the beginning, you can't max out every category, but as you get better and as you get better in the video game, you get more and more points, and you can start maxing out all the different characters. And in life, unlike video games, there are no cheat codes, so you can't just put in the code and have a max character right away. You got to do the work. So you make the dartboard, you fill in the attributes on all the little slices of the dartboard, and then you rank yourself. Where do I stand? 0 to 10. Do I throw hard enough? You know, I throw kind of hard, but I don't throw hard enough. So I'm going to give myself a 7 out of 10. I could throw harder. Do I have a really good breaking ball? No, my breaking ball sucks. I'm going to give myself a 2 out of 10. Well, now I know what I can go work on. I can find the lowest hanging fruit and I can try to build up that category because I'm going to get the most benefit out of working on that. A lot of people want to work on the things that they're already good at and they never develop the things that they aren't good at. But having this visual of yourself, your dartboard and your goals and your attributes is going to help you know what to work on and when, and what you're good at and what you're not. You're going to start seeing very clearly, you know, oh man, I'm pretty good at this area. There's a lot of categories over here that are like filled out. I'm a 7 out of 10. I'm a 10 out of 10 over here. But man, this side of my dartboard is blank. I'm not a very good command person. I don't have very good durability. I don't work out very much during season. Like, man, those things are all kind of tied together. I see. I need to go work on that side of things. So make your dartboard, fill in the attributes, rank yourself 0 to 10. You can even divide it into like 10 circles if you want, so you can color in the different areas as you make it towards 10 so you can track your progress. That's something kind of fun to do if that's for you. But make a dartboard, put the attributes around there, and then rank yourself. And that leads us right into tip number 4. Be brutally honest with yourself. Okay, you gotta be honest with yourself. It's okay to beat yourself up a little bit here. Don't get negative, don't get down on yourself, but you gotta be honest. It's okay to be not where you wanna be. Like, this is the reason you're setting a goal. You're not where you wanna be right now, but you wanna get there. But you can't get there if you don't know where you're coming from. I can't put into a map, I can't put into Apple Maps, I wanna go to the stadium, I want to go to the Reds stadium, but I don't know where I'm coming from. It can't give me directions. I don't know where I'm at. So you have to have a start point and an end point, and you need to be really honest with yourself about where you currently are. The good, give yourself a pat on the back. If you're really good at something, great. Acknowledge it. The bad, if you're not good at something, it doesn't mean you're always going to be bad at it. It just means that you're not as good right now as you can be. That's why we're setting goals. All right. So, and the other option here is you got to look up. Or my other advice here is to look up, not down. What do I mean by that? Well, you got to look up at the people who have more than you, or who have accomplished this before, or who are ahead of you in this process. And you say, okay, what are they doing? How do I get there? How do I compete? How do I get up to that level? How do I accomplish something that they're not accomplishing? Like, that's where you want to move. If you're always looking up at the people, you're gonna naturally kind of gravitate. You're gonna naturally gravitate upwards. If you're always looking down, you're always going to be better than the people you're looking at, and there's no motivation to continue to improve. So look up, not down, and be brutally honest with yourself. Tip number 5, develop a process. And it doesn't have to be the perfect process. It doesn't even have to be a good process. Don't spend a ton of time paralyzed by trying to come up with the best process right away and not get any action done. Develop a process, and then start, and then along the way, as you start seeing how this process is working for you, you can make adjustments. But if you don't start, you'll never get anywhere closer to your goals, and that's the most important thing people forget. They gotta start. People wanna do all the right things and do all the research and learn everything and make sure they're doing everything right, and in the time that it takes them to research all this stuff and to figure out what the right process is, or what they think the right process is, someone else who started has already gone through 2 or 3 or 4 different processes and found out what actually is going to work for them and has made a lot more progress. So develop a process and get started. Tip number 6, give yourself subconscious reminders. So that's something that you go and see every single day, but you don't necessarily notice it. Okay, it doesn't have to be this big thing that you read aloud to yourself every morning. That can help. If you're someone that helps, then great, do it. Give yourself positive affirmations, that's fine. But give yourself subconscious reminders of your goal, of what you're going to be when you accomplish this goal, stuff like that. So if I want to be a big league pitcher, then I might have a picture of a big league mound or a big league stadium or something like that on my phone background. I go on my phone all the time. Everyone goes on their phones all the time, and you pass by your lock screen, right? But in that split second, when you look at the phone to pass by your lock screen, your subconscious is seeing this vision that you have for yourself. Okay, some people write it on their mirror. Some people put a magnet on their fridge. Some people put a picture in their wallet or just a little token in their wallet that you see every day and you don't even really notice it, but your subconscious does. And it continues to overwrite your image of yourself, and it gives you this positive reinforcement that you're going to accomplish everything that you want to accomplish and that you can continue moving up. So give yourself some sort of subconscious reminder. Put a little cues here and there in your wallet, on your phone, on your fridge, somewhere where you go every single day that will subconsciously influence you to continue pushing forward in your goals. Tip number 7, track your progress. You have to track your progress. If you start and then in 6 months you just like, oh, I wonder how I'm doing, you've missed a lot of time. You might be doing great, you might not, you just don't know. You can't make any small adjustments if you don't track your progress. It's a great way to continue to encourage yourself if you're doing the right things. Hey man, I wanted to lose some weight and we're 2 weeks in and I'm down 2 pounds. Great, that's great. You're on track. You're moving in the correct direction. Or man, I wanted to lose 10 pounds and we're 2 weeks in, but I've gained 4 pounds. Okay, now I need to adjust my process. That way you don't get to the end of your deadline that you set for yourself and okay, let me see how I've done. And you didn't accomplish your goal and now you're discouraged because you didn't track your progress along the way. You didn't look at it often enough to iterate and to make small adjustments to continue to like weave your way down the road and get to where you want to go. So track your progress. It's super important. Tip number 8 is to compete. Achieving your goals is not easy if you're setting goals that are lofty enough that you really want to drive yourself forward. So you got to compete. You got to look at yourself and you got to say, okay, how can I create a little game out of this? How can I challenge myself? Can I get 2 days in a row of doing this routine? Great. All right, now I want to get 2 days in a row twice a week. Can I get 3 days in a row twice a week? Man, can I go a full week and do this routine and not miss a day? Like make little games for yourself and compete with yourself. You gotta log your progress to do this. This is why writing things down and logging and tracking your progress is so important. So you can create little games for yourself and little checkpoints for yourself that make you compete. Oh man, shoot, I wanted to get 2 times a week this week, but I only got 1. All right, well, next week, I'm gonna try to compete a little bit better. I'm gonna try to be a little bit better than this week version of myself, and I'm gonna get 2 next week. Okay, great, I got 3 this week, actually. Man, I did a great job. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back, and let me see if I can do that again next week. The more you compete with yourself, the more you track, and you try to be better than last week, the quicker you're gonna get towards where you're going. Tip number 9, and the last part of the process, is to iterate. And I know I've talked about it in a couple other steps, but this is why it's super important to have a deadline and to write things down. You go through this process, you get to your deadline, you say, okay, you evaluate. How did I do? Did I do well? Did I not do well? Is my process working? Let me make some adjustments here. I didn't like this part. I did like that part. I'm gonna double down on this thing. I'm gonna add in this little thing and take this part out. Great, I have a new process. Now I'm gonna go right back to it. I'm gonna go through the whole thing, and at the end of my deadline, I've written everything down, I've made my dartboard, I've done all this different stuff, do it again. And the more you get good at this process, the quicker it happens, and the more you start realizing what does and doesn't work for you, and the quicker you get to your goals. Okay, so to recap the process: 1, write your goals down. 2, evaluate your competition. 3, make your dartboard. 4, be brutally honest with yourself. 5, develop a process. 6, set up subconscious reminders. That's super important. Number 7, track your progress. Number 8, compete. And number 9, iterate. Do the process again. Get really good at this process, and you'll get really good at completing your goals. All right, so now that I'm done teaching you how to achieve your goals, I'm hoping you guys will be willing to help me achieve one of my goals. And one of my goals is 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2020. This channel is meant to help people. I'm really passionate about connecting with young fans and giving them resources. And I would love it if you guys could help me reach more people. And the way you do that is by subscribing and sharing this video with a couple people that you think might be able to benefit from this process, that might be able to achieve some of their goals quicker. Help me help more people. And as always, leave me your comments below and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my future content. And I will see you guys on Friday. I'm out.